Hey guys, thank you for joining. Today we're going to be running through workout splits explained. So in the next 30 minutes, I'm going to be running through workout splits, reps and rest times. So hope everyone's had a good week. I'm going to be breaking down a few key topics. So in a minute or two, I'm just going to let everybody join the session, but I'm going to be doing a welcome and an introduction into the live. I'm then going to be running through a few different topics in relation to workouts. So why workout structures matter, a few different training splits that you can use as well. So we're going to be running through some of the most popular training splits such as push-pull legs. We're going to be running through things such as the upper-lower split, full body training, the bro split. Also going to be looking at choosing the right split for you. So what I think is really, really important is that depending on how much time you have to commit to go into the gym, it's really important to choose the right workout split. So just to confirm, in terms of what the live is going to be about today, is all around workout splits, different types of splits that I'm going to explain, reps, rest times, and a few of those different topics there. So in terms of a quick introduction, so my name is Ross. I've been training for over a decade. So I've got a lot of experience in this space, and I've been running these lives quite regularly over the last few weeks in terms of sharing my knowledge in how to make sure that you can get fit in 2026 and beyond. I know we've got a lot of people that want to get into shape this year, and this session is going to be super important because as we're running through workout splits is going to be the foundation of your success when it comes to exercise. So in terms of the agenda that we're going to be running through today, so we're going to be running through why workout structure matters, push-pull legs. We're going to run through the upper-lower split, full body training, the bro split, choosing the right split, and then just around 7 o'clock, we are then going to close the session and then have some final takeaways and some key points from the session. So in terms of what we're running through today is workout splits, reps and rest. But firstly, why do workout structures matter? The main reason why workout structures matter is because you can effectively track your progress over many months and over years. If you don't track your own progress when it comes to the gym and you're just following random workouts and you're not following a structured program, then it's really hard to look at, am I actually getting the results from the gym that I want? Obviously, we've got the physical side of things, but it's really important to start tracking things such as your reps, your sets, the weight that you're lifting. If you're getting stronger, then you're getting bigger, depending on the goal that you're looking at. So that's the main reasons why it's better to have a structured workout program as opposed to doing random workouts. So in terms of volume, intensity and frequency, explained very, very simply, you need to go to the gym consistently every week for at least 3 days a week. I would recommend to at least see somewhat results from the gym. 3 days a week is the minimum, personally for me. Obviously, there's other ways that you can get into shape. You don't need to do a workout program. However, in this live today, I'm going to be talking about workout programs, and that's mainly going to be around the gym. So common mistakes that most people make when it comes to their workout splits is they're doing too many exercises. They're not resting enough in between each of their sets, and they're program hopping. And that is probably one of the most common things that I see when it comes to workout programming. Everyone thinks that the next program is the best program for them, where in actual fact, the best and most effective program is the one that you can stay consistent with. So now we're going to move into the first workout split, which is push-pull legs. This is a very popular split that you'll see a lot of influencers, you'll see a lot of people promote this on their channels. Personally, for me, I think the push-pull leg split is great for people who are intermediate, advanced, and who are looking to train at least 5 to 6 days per week. That is a lot of commitment. For me personally, I do 3 days a week. When I talk about my own training split here, I'm going to go into it in a little bit more detail. But if you are able to commit 5 to 6 days a week consistently, then potentially the push-pull leg split could be good for you. However, if you are a beginner, I would recommend to stay away from this workout program to begin with. So the training guidelines around the push-pull legs. So essentially what you'll do is you'll do all of your pushing movements on one day. So that'll be things like shoulder press. It'll be things like chest press. On your pull day, you'll be doing all of your pulling movements. So this will essentially be like a back day. And then you'll have a standalone leg day. Where I think there is a slight downside to the push-pull legs is because if you are looking to grow your lower body instead of your upper body and you want to have more of a lower body focus, then I do think the push-pull leg split is slightly more focused in terms of volume to your upper body. So depending on your goals, I think if you are looking to improve the lower half of your legs, then generally the push-pull leg split, I probably wouldn't recommend it. So key takeaways for the push-pull legs is it's great because it's got high volume. It's great for muscle growth if your recovery is solid. Please note that you cannot grow and you cannot change your body whilst you're inside of the gym. It doesn't matter if you're going to the gym every day, if you're going to the gym 6 days a week. In order to grow, you need to make sure that you're prioritizing the full rest and recovery. So in terms of the next split that I'm going to go into, it is the upper lower split. So I've just got a question here from Tasha Tisa. Are these full body movements or are we just using weights and machines? So you can use a mixture of weights and machines depending. So in terms of how you'll break down the exercises, you'll have a certain amount of exercises that will be compound lifts, a certain amount of exercises that will be accessories, and a certain amount of exercises that will be isolation movements. So for example, for compound lifts, for your push day will be things like your bench press. On your back day, it will be things like pull-ups. And then on your leg day, it will be things like squats. Accessory movements can be things like your calves, can be things like your forearms. And then isolation movements will be around biceps, triceps, all those other exercises there. So moving on to the next split, which is the upper lower split. This is a great split if you are extremely busy. So if you've got a very, very tight schedule, then the upper lower split could be something for you. This is going to be good for strength and also for size. So in terms of the training guidelines around the upper lower split, so your main lifts, you generally want to have a rep range between 4 to 6 reps, 2 to 3 minutes rest. For your secondary lifts, so these are going to be your accessory lifts, you want to have a 6 to 10 rep range, around a 90 to 120 second rest. And then for your isolation movements, so this could be things like your biceps, your triceps, then you can do 10 to 15 reps with a 60-second rest. Really important to take away here is depending on the exercise that you're doing will require a different rest time. So if you're doing a compound movement, because that is recruiting multiple muscle groups, that then will require a longer rest time than, say, for example, a bicep curl. So always good to keep that in mind. A key takeaway for the upper lower split, it is the best balance for frequency and recovery. So depending on your goals, depending on your schedule, the upper lower split could be one for you. So just as a roundup before I move on to the full body training split, we've just run through why workout structures matter. So random workouts versus structured workouts. We've then run through volume, intensity, and frequency. Really important to make sure that you're going to the gym and lifting weights on a regular basis, a minimum of 3 days per week. But as you can see here on some of the splits that I've run through so far, you can go to the gym 5-6 days a week, depending on your schedule and depending on your fitness level. I then run through some common mistakes when it comes to workout programming. So doing too many exercises, not resting enough, and program hopping. So program hopping definitely is one of the most common things that I see. So many people think the next program is the best thing for them, but the most effective training program is the one that you are willing to stay consistent with. Always good to keep that in mind. Then firstly, run through the push-pull leg split. So this is great for intermediate to advanced lifters. Go into the gym 5 to 6 days per week. So it is a lot of commitment when it comes to going to the gym. In terms of the training guidelines, you're going to be doing compound lifts 5 to 8 reps with a 2 to 3 minute rest. Your accessory movements are going to be 8 to 12 reps, 90-second rest. And then your isolation movements are going to be 10 to 15 reps with a 45 to 75-second rest. So in relation to the push-pull leg split, it's great for high volume and it's fantastic for muscle growth if your recovery is solid. Because you're in the gym so much, you need to make sure that your diet and that your hydration, sleep, and nutrition are all on point. We then next moved into the upper lower split. It's great for busy schedules, great for building strength and size. We then spoke about the training guidelines around the main lifts, 4 to 6 reps, 2 to 3 minutes rest. For your accessory lifts, it's 6 to 10 reps, 90 to 120 second rest. And then for your isolation movements, 10 to 15 reps with a 60-second rest. Really important, depending on the exercises that you're doing, you will require different rest times. So if you're doing a compound movement such as a bench press or a squat or a deadlift or a row, you will need a longer rest time than if you was doing a bicep or a tricep curl. So next split that I'm going to be running through is the full body training split. And in relation to the full body training split, this is a fantastic split for beginners. It's great if you're looking to target fat loss and if you've got limited time. And this personally for me is the split that I follow. So the full body training split is what I do every week, 3 days a week, and I do 10,000 steps a day. It's just because I haven't got the time to actually commit 5 to 6 days per week. But the good news is you can build and maintain a solid physique with going to the gym just for 3 1-hour gym sessions each week and doing a full body training program. So in terms of the training guidelines for your full body training program, you're going to be doing 1 exercise per muscle group every time that you go to the gym. So if I go to the gym on a Monday, I'm going to do 1 exercise for my chest, 1 exercise for my back, 1 exercise for shoulders, biceps, triceps, abs, and legs. So nice and simple. You'll then have a rest day in between your next before your next gym session, and then you will then follow the same exercises on your second day. Then have another rest day, then do a a change of exercises on the last day to make sure that you're hitting your body up from different angles. So in terms of the training guidelines for the full body split, in terms of your big compound movements, you're going to look to really up that intensity because we're not doing as much volume as the push-pull legs or the upper-lower split. So we need to make sure that that rep range is going to be 5 to 8 reps with a 2 to 3 minute rest. Again, because we are doing compound movements, really important to make sure that you do take the rest and recovery before your next working set. For your accessory movements, so for your secondary lifts, we're going to be doing a hypertrophy split. So this is between 8 and 12 reps with a 90-second rest. And then for your accessory movements, your isolation movements after that, we're then going to be doing 10 to 15 reps with a 45 to 60-second rest. So the key takeaways from the full body training is it's simple, it's effective, and for me personally, I think it is highly underrated. And that's why I do that training split. I think for me, it's the best split because it makes sure that you are showing love to every part of your body and that you're not neglecting a particular area. And if you wanted to maybe lean more into your arms or more into your chest or more into your legs, it's a very flexible program that you can adjust it accordingly depending on your goals. And also a good thing to note here as well is because January is extremely busy and it's like busy literally 24/7, when you're doing a full body split, you've got so much variety of where you can go around the gym. Whereas if you're just training chest, legs, or back, so I'm going to go on to the bro split next, then you are pretty much limited to a certain amount of machines or exercises that you can do in the gym. So that's why the full body split as well is also very, very good. So moving on now to the bro split. So this is a split that I used to train for many, many years, and I absolutely loved it. And this is when I had a lot more time. I wish I had more time now like I did back then. But the bro split essentially is, for anyone that doesn't know it, is you are training one muscle group per day. And this is great if you are on a bodybuilding focus, if you are potentially competing in that space. What does it look like generally week to week? So you're going to have a chest day, you're going to have a back day, shoulder day, arm day, and then a leg day. So you're pretty much breaking out all of your different muscle groups into individual days. Generally, what it would look like here is you'd be doing 4 to 5 exercises per muscle group, 3 to 4 sets. So there is a lot of volume across each of those days, and you're training around 5 to 6 days per week. So again, a lot on the body. So you need to make sure that you are getting the right nutrition, rest, and recovery because it's super, super important in terms of seeing that growth and making sure that you don't get injured. So around the training guidelines for the bro split, for your heavy compound movements, you're going to be looking to do a 6 to 10 rep range. So really up in that intensity, you're going to be making sure that you're going to be getting at least a 2 to 3 minute rest. For your moderate lifts, you're going to be looking to do 8 to 12 reps. So this is going to be around your accessory exercises, a 90-second rest in between those. And then for your isolation finishers, such as your biceps, your triceps, you're going to be looking to do 12 to 20 reps, a 45 to 60-second rest. So the pros of the bro split is it's high focus and pump, and it's easy to mentally lock into these sessions. When I used to train for the bro split many years ago, I loved it. It was a lot of volume, but as I've got busier, unfortunately, I can't stay on that split. But I definitely would recommend that the full body training split for 3 days a week is solid. Like for me, I've got so much gains off of the full body split, and if you execute it properly, then you're not at a disadvantage from going to the gym only 3 days a week. So the cons to the bro split is it's low frequency per muscle group each week, just because you are training one muscle group every week. And it requires high volume to be effective. Because you are just training chest on one day, back on another, you need to make sure that you get the volume through the body to make sure that you're equally growing all areas of your body effectively. Key takeaways for the bro split is it still works when volume and intensity are high. So that is something to take away. Next, we're just going to move on to now the last sort of just over 5 minutes of this live is all about choosing the right split. So in terms of choosing the right split, for you guys who are watching this, you may or may not want to compete in bodybuilding, but the way that I look at things is I'm not a professional bodybuilder. For what I'm looking to do is just stay in general shape, so health and fitness. So in terms of choosing the right split, these are going to be some of the decision. This is going to be a quick decision guide that you guys can follow. So depending on how many days that you can go to the gym, if you guys can go to the gym 2 to 3 days only throughout the week, that's fine. I'd recommend the full body split. This is where you can get around to every part of your body, every muscle group effectively, at least a few days per week. At least it gets hit from different angles. If you've got an extra day to play with, an extra day or two to play with, if you've got 4 days, then you can do a upper lower split. So nice and simple, you can do upper lower, rest, upper lower. And if you've got more time than that, then firstly, I'm truly jealous. But if you've got more time to commit to the gym more than 4 days a week, then I'd recommend to do a push-pull legs or a bro split if you can go to the gym 5 or 6 days per week. So a few other things to take into account here in terms of choosing the right split is around recovery and sleep. As I touched upon earlier on in the session, you can't grow inside of the gym. All of the growth happens outside of the gym. So all about this rest and recovery is super, super important. Really important also as well to take into account your training age. If you are younger, then you'll be able to have a lot more energy and your body will be able to sustain a higher volume of training. And also as well, lastly, it depends on what you enjoy. If you enjoy something, if you enjoy a particular training split, then you're going to be more than likely to stay consistent with it. I think one of the most important things to take away is if you are on a split that you don't enjoy, then if you just drop off and you just don't go to the gym, then regardless of the frequency or how many days that you're going, if you're not consistent over a sustained period of time, then you won't see the results that you want. So really important to make sure that you enjoy the split that you choose. And then lastly, just as we're coming up to closing up the session, so we've just got just under 4 minutes left, is final takeaways is rest times matter across all of the different workout splits. Really important depending on what type of exercise that you're doing. If you're doing a compound movement, make sure that you're giving yourself at least 2 to 3 minutes rest in between each of your exercises. If you're doing a mid accessory movement, then make sure that you're giving yourself at least 90 seconds rest in between each of those sets. If you are able to do another set effectively with a shorter rest time, then you need to up the weight. You are not working hard enough. So super, super important that you are pushing those boundaries and that you are challenging yourself when it comes to really pushing the needle and driving growth. And lastly, just the last point that I make here, just in terms of the final takeaways, is consistency beats perfection. Regardless of whatever training program that you choose, if it's the push-pull legs, if it's the upper lower, if it's the full body training split, if it's the bro split, the most important thing is that you are consistent. Consistency beats perfection. You can go to the gym on a bro split for 6 days a week or 5-6 days a week for 2 to 3 weeks, and then you'll drop off because you can't keep it up. If, on the other hand, you're going to the gym 3 days a week, but you keep that up throughout the whole year, then you will progress a lot more than the person who's perceived to be doing higher frequency. But because you are being consistent, that is the most important thing to remember. Consistency beats perfection. The best split to choose is the one that you'll actually stick to consistently. So really, really key. But I'd just like to take this opportunity now to thank you guys very much for watching this live. Today we've run through workout splits, reps and rest times. I hope you guys have found the session helpful. I hope you guys have had a fantastic week. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. In terms of my next live, that is going to be on Sunday. I'm going to schedule a session very shortly after I end this live. So if you guys are interested in that next session, then that will be scheduled up shortly. If you guys have got any other questions that I can help with, feel free to put them in the comments now so I can answer them before I break this call. Failing that, feel free to DM me directly with any fitness questions, topics. My goal is to make sure that you guys are best placed to choose the right workout program. I really want to work with you guys in terms of setting you guys up for success, not just for January, but for the whole of 2026. If I can share my passion in terms of fitness, health, then I'm on hand here to support you. But thank you guys very much for watching today. I'll see you guys on Sunday for the next live, and have a good weekend and have a good evening. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.